Hey, what's up gamers? We will be making some music today. This will be the first of this kind of video. I don't usually make videos like this, but I have been live streaming myself doing music production recently. So I wanted to compile some video together so I could show off my production process. During the live stream, I was using a software called the Nonsensical Video Generator. So if you hear some extra noise playing in the background, it's because I'm literally playing YouTube poops in the background while I'm working on this music. So I chose to start this song with a drum loop. We added a little bit of atmosphere by layering a couple chants together.
What exactly did you see them take?
Then we applied a flanger and a chorus effect on one of the voices, as well as a nice long reverb. And then we can begin adding these things in combination to our playlist. I will admit that a lot of the playlist in this video, and probably my other videos that I'll be releasing, gets cut off by my webcam. That's kind of just a facet of how I set up these streams. I wanted them to look kind of slick and nice. Obviously, I kind of sacrificed some visual readability for that, but it shouldn't be too difficult to keep up with what's going on, and you'll see a full version of the playlist at the end of the video. We're going to chop our beat loop, and I added this little cowbell, but I don't think it really comes through on the mix. I added a CMT Bit Crusher plugin to its effects channel to try and give it a little more static, but at some point the Bit Crusher got reset, and I don't really know what happened with it, so we sort of forgot the Bit Crusher.
Nice to meet you, as they say in Nippon.
Here we're tracking the main beat loop to an effects channel, so we can add a EQ to it and remove the low and high sounds. Okay, next up we've got snares. You can see me messing with the velocity on some of the beats. And then for atmosphere, I wanted to add a crash. And we're gonna dial the reverb way up on that. Really make it spacious. And then I put a little sound goodizer on here as a little joke, and just EQ'd the highs and lows out of it. And here I am trying to find just the right sample pitch. So now that we got all the basic stuff away, we're going to break out Synth 1, the greatest of all time VST plugin. And then I'm going to spend a lot of time fussing over exactly which preset we want to use. There's too many of them, and I never remember what's what. Here we're just setting up a basic progression. I'm a fan of the shepherd's tone, and I enjoy pieces that sound like they're going somewhere but don't actually have any movement to them, so I've set this piece up in a sort of descending manner where it doesn't actually change much. So here we're attempting to sidechain our main beat loop to our new synth, and then you run it through the comp function on the Foodie limiter to actually get the sidechain working. Sidechaining it to the main beat loop wasn't working for me, so we're going to find a distinct kick to run alongside the beat. And that's the sidechain I'm looking for. Here I've added a part B to the progression of the melody. but we weren't very happy with the synth we were using still, so we went back into Synth 1 and found another preset. We ended up settling on one called Fluffy Clouds Pad. We're going to perfectly pitch this hi-hat, just based on ear. I'm not actually great at pitch. And then just place it on the first of every beat, and just reverb that out a ton. I'm also retiming the sample slightly by changing its starting point so it's a little snappier and quicker. And here I'm trying to build a second version of the melody based on the same synth, but I'm not really liking it, so we're going to switch to another instance of Synth 1 VST, and just look around for another preset that we like. Ultimately, we just settled on this one called Nintendo. I believe here all I've done is just turn the gain down slightly and the porta up a little bit. And here we've created yet another iteration of the main melody, so we have multiple versions now that can lead into each other. Here we're adding in clips of the Ice Climbers, I believe from Melee, Smash Brothers Melee, just as some extra sort of crowd texture. And of course we are going to reverb and EQ the shit out of that. Make it really ambient. Here we begin to build out the actual shape of the song, so I'm going to repeat the pattern just a few times over and then start removing pieces from it to see kind of what sort of build-up I like, what sort of progression I want in the overall piece, and then we kind of get a vibe from there where all the big moments are gonna go. Recently I got my hands on a sound pack of a lot of the voice effects and sound effects for the first four the Bungie made Halo games. So I've been kind of experimenting with using them in music, and we've decided to include a few here. Samples from video games I love like this always bring me so much joy. So now we're adding an auto-tune to the checkpoint sample via the pitcher, just to ensure that it doesn't fall out of line with any of the other notes and it sounds melodic even if it's not really supposed to be. So here I've grabbed the clip of Jeff saying Juggernaut, and I'm just retiming it, get it to kind of fit with the tempo of the song a little better. So here we're running the Juggernaut line through CMT Bit Crusher to get it a little bit crunchier, a little more garbled, and repitching it. So here we've grabbed a glitch sound effect to work as a sort of fill, and here I'm just running it through a delay effect plugin and sort of tweaking the settings until it sounds appropriate to what I'm trying to do. And now we're back to checkpoint reached, re-EQing it and adding a gross beat effect, just a slight one, so it kind of glitches near the end. Okay, we found a loop we really liked on Splice, but it doesn't exactly fit the project, so first things first, we need to retime it.
Checkpoint reached.
So we're just going to EQ and bit crush the loop a little bit, and then add a little gross beat effect to it. And here I'm altering the Fluffy Cloud synth a little bit again, including moving it down a few notes, just so it blends a little better with the new loop. And now we're figuring out where we want to layer this new loop in the progression of the song. We ultimately settled on reversing and sidechaining the sample in order to get the best results. I'm still not comfortable in my ability to pitch this to this song, so I'm going to run it through the pitcher just to ensure that any off notes don't end up out of line. And then I'm just adjusting some of the notes on some of the other melodies to ensure that everything is in D sharp minor. Here we are adding a sample called the Plateau Riser and just adjusting the time to make sure it's all matched up. And of course we're giving it the EQing treatment and pitching it a ways down.
Checkpoint reached.
Here I'm just fiddling with the gain and the effect knobs on the Nintendo lead. And here we're adding another variation of the Nintendo melody so we can keep things fresh as the song progresses. Just really fiddling with those notes. I found this sort of ambient impact from a dubstep pack that I purchased recently, so I figured I would slap it in the song somewhere for just a little added texture. And for a little extra fun, I'm going to throw in this sample of the PlayStation 2 startup screen that I have on hand. And we're just going to give it a bunch of reverb, turn the volume on the sample up a bunch, and run it through the pitcher to ensure that it is in D sharp minor. And we found our drop sample, so we're just going to insert that at our first drop, where the song really picks up, and then we're also going to put it at the end of what is currently our playlist. Now that we have the drop squared away, it's mostly just a matter of copying over the elements of the song that we want to keep for the second piece, and then also finding new elements to sort of upend the formula and surprise. So here we're looking through our break samples. Okay, I found the one I want, and of course we're gonna retime it, and perfect. And here I'm chopping an extra glitch sample from the Nebula pack that I have as an extra piece of the drop. And I'm actually going to spice the drop up even a little more with one extra dubstep sample. So while we were figuring out which order we want the melody to go in after the drop, I decided that I actually want to use a different synth. So we're gonna open up Harmless and just find a plugin that sounds like a good post-drop lead.
You unconscious.
You're killing me, allergy pills through you up this nut.
I settled on a dance pluck, and here we've copied the Nintendo melody over to the new lead. So for this we've added some grit, and we've messed up the LFO a little bit. You'll see that a little bit later in the video, as well as changing the filter to a crude high pass.
What's going on?
Here we're adding yet another variation of the pluck, so it gets even more hype as the song goes on. We're grabbing another Synth 1 preset here for the crazy epic vibes. I've decided to settle on a rave preset. And the regular melody wasn't working at all for me for this piece, so we decided to switch it up entirely. Don't worry though, we will be bringing the main melody back in this synth later, so we are still keeping that version of it. Here we've raised the porta slightly, switched the voice to mono from Poly, and also removed the chorus and tempo delay.
Checkpoint reached.
And here we are once again restructuring the old Rave Nation melody so we can have it sort of raise in intensity as the piece goes on. And of course here we're working on the outro. Outros are very important to me. I like to get them just right. So we are going to be editing the Fluffy Clouds pad again, just to make it fit a little better this time. Here we're adding a low-pass filter to the Rave Nation synth so it kind of trails off at the end and fades out. This is done via an automation clip placed on the timeline. So I like that repeating vocal chop First of all, I'm going to run this through Clipper and turn the gain way up and the clipping way down so it makes the voice much chunkier. It's a free plugin called G-Clip that you can run through your effects channel. And then after that, I'm just going to line up a bunch of clips of Jeff saying Juggernaut and make sure they are perfectly on beat, chopped just right so it sounds right to me. Thanks everyone for sticking around this far into the video. If you have, please like the video, and here is the final product.
Checkpoint reached.
Thanks for watching.